In April 2011, 22-year-old Arunima Sinha was traveling to Delhi on the Padmawat Express. She was a national-level volleyball player, law graduate, and applicant for the paramilitary forces, with a future centered on sports and service. During the night, thieves tried to snatch her gold chain. She fought back fiercely, but they overpowered her and threw her from the moving train. She fell onto the parallel tracks just as a second train barreled toward her from the opposite direction. It ran over her left leg, crushing the bone below the knee. She lay there for hours. 49 trains passed her as she bled on the gravel. As she slipped in and out of consciousness, rats roaming the tracks began to bite at her open injuries. By the time villagers found her at dawn, she had been stripped of her mobility and her identity as an athlete, reaching the absolute floor of physical survival. At the Bareilly District Hospital, surgeons were forced to operate immediately. To prevent gangrene, they amputated her left leg below the knee, performing the procedure without anesthesia due to a lack of supplies. While she was still in recovery, newspapers began publishing claims that she had jumped from the train to avoid a ticket check or as a suicide attempt. The rumors spread while she was still learning to set up. Visitors flooded her room with pity, suggesting she accept a desk job and a quiet life. She rejected the advice, deciding that if the world viewed her as broken, she would have to do something they couldn't ignore. From a hospital bed at Ames, Delhi, with multiple spinal fractures and a missing limb, she set a goal that defied all medical logic. She would climb Mount Everest. After her discharge, she sought out Bachendri Paul, the first Indian woman to reach the summit. Paul listened to her story and told her that the decision to even attempt the climb in her condition was a victory in itself.
Arunima enrolled at the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. She spent 18 grueling months in training, trading months of rehabilitation for the technical shocks of high-altitude climbing. On steep inclines, her prosthetic leg proved to be a liability. The artificial ankle couldn't pivot to meet the slope, causing the leg to slip repeatedly while the socket chafed against her residual limb until it bled. Without a right thigh muscle, her knee had to lift the entire 6-pound prosthetic with every step. A stretch of rock that took other climbers 2 minutes required nearly 3 hours of grueling effort from her. Through relentless practice, she modified her climbing technique, using her ice axis to compensate for her missing leverage. She moved from being a patient to an elite athlete capable of surviving in the world's deadliest environment. In May 2013, she entered the Khumbu icefall. The shifting sheets of blue ice were captivated in photos, but lethal in reality, threatening to twist her artificial knee with every unstable step. In the death zone above 26,000 feet, she passed the frozen bodies of climbers who never made it down. It was a stark, visual reminder of the mountain's lack of mercy. Near the Hillary Step, her oxygen levels fell to a critical low. Every movement became a battle against suffocation and extreme cold. Her Sherpa, seeing her struggle, begged her to turn back. He warned her that continuing with such little oxygen was a suicide mission. She refused. After years of mental and physical struggle, she decided that if she was going to die, it would be while moving toward the peak, not retreating from it. On May 21, 2013, she forced her failing body through the final steep ridge of ice and rock. At 10:55 a.m., Arunima Sinha stood on the summit, becoming the first female amputee in history to reach the top of the world. Despite her dangerously low oxygen, she took the time to hoist the Indian flag and film the moment. She wanted the youth of her country to have visual proof of her journey, even if she didn't survive the descent. Standing at 8,848 meters, she had successfully dismantled the societal belief that a disability dictated the boundaries of a person's life. She spent the following years targeting the highest peak on every other continent. By 2015, she had conquered Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Elbrus in Russia, and Aconcagua in Argentina. In 2019, she completed the circuit in Antarctica, standing atop Mount Vinson. She had moved from a hospital bed to the coldest, most isolated peaks on the planet in less than a decade. Her impact was recognized with the Padma Shri in 2015. She used her prize money and influence to found a sports academy for underprivileged children with disabilities,
providing the resources she lacked after her accident. Arunima Sinha maintains that while the body may be injured, the mind decides the level of handicap. Her victory wasn't just over the mountain, but over the internal voice that once told her to give up.